being and state of our earth. She has a long-term involvement in inter-religious dialogue and represents the Brahma Kumaris on the board of religious leaders of the Elijah Interfaith Institute and is a spiritual ambassador to the Living Peace of Project. In April 2022, it was last year, she traveled to Ukraine with religious leaders as a part of the Faith in Ukraine initiative. Sister Maureen is part of the strategic circle of the Spiritual of Humanity Forum, offering a safe space for dialogue among leaders and change makers seeking transformation based on core human values. So this is about her introduction, and as we know, Raj Yoga Center, we practice and teach a form of meditation that relaxes the mind and nurtures a healthy balance between our inner and outer worlds. Through numerous social service activities and partnership, we promote spiritual understanding, leaderships with integrity and elevated actions towards a better world. We will have a minute of silence. She'll be here soon.
Good evening, everyone. You must be wondering, the face doesn't match. The part of Sister Maureen you saw on the leaflets and the flyers. There is actually a very last moment change. Sister Maureen from UK this morning, and she is not quite well physically. So she apologized with all of you that she couldn't be here for this evening's event, and she has conveyed you all lot of loving remembrances, and she was telling that she really missed coming here and was again and again feeling sorry, but then my team here is not aware yet. The technical team is aware, but not the other team here, so really apologies. But I think that we have gathered over here, it is a good chance for all of us to ponder upon today's topic. Is that okay? Can the music be switched off? Thank you. So staying light. Sorry, Pavitra, for this last minute information to you. Sister Maureen is here to participate in pre-COP28 Religious Leaders Summit, which will commence on Monday and Tuesday, 6th and 7th of November. And she really needs to be up for those 2 days. So that is the reason mainly she couldn't be here today. But then today's topic is so relevant for me personally, and when Sister Maureen was sharing the lines of the topic, and I felt I am there. Being in the Raj Yoga Center with some projects parallelly happening, like the COP28 which is happening, and we have few of our very nice and beautiful environmentalists being present there, representing Raj Yoga Center. for the COP28, and also some other projects parallelly running. And I was just thinking that we are all responsible, we feel that responsibility of completing a task. And whenever this responsibility word comes, there is also some synonyms that come in our mind. What might they be? If you are made responsible for some task, some project, what do you think? What do you feel inside? Committed to cause, yes. Then there is anxiety, how things would work. Stress, yes. You are aware of the subject, you become aware of the subject, yes. Anything else? You are to the best of your ability, yes. Very good. Any other answers? You can share your feelings, because responsibility in many areas, right? Not just in the work area, work front, but also at home. Maybe in fulfilling a relationship, we feel the responsibility. To take care of a person, we feel the responsibility. So what do you feel at that time? Sorry? Yes. 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 Exactly. Right. Anything else? You feel heavy. Yes. Anything else? On this side? All your thoughts covered? Who feels stressed when there is responsibility, when you have to deal with a responsibility? And who doesn't feel heavy but happy? Oh, we are 50-50. Exactly. In fact, this whole year, Rajoga Center has been focusing on variety of themes every month. And this month of November, we have taken this quality of responsibility. And we feel that we are responsible in many areas. First of all, we are responsible with our own selves as well. The way we conduct our lives, we are responsible there as well. The way I create my thought, the way I speak, the way I behave with others, I am responsible there. And also, there are responsibilities in the interpersonal relationships, right? In our relationship with human beings, we feel responsibility there as well. The responsibility may be towards our family people, the family members, maybe at workplace, and also in the social front. And being a human, we all have these areas where we need to respond to the situations. But then another responsibility that we all have is towards the nature as well, right? And nowadays that is the talk in Dubai. Everyone is talking about the nature, environment, and very soon the COP28 would come, the UN International Conference on Climate Change would be held here. And suddenly, since last few years, this whole topic of responsibility towards nature is also a very hot topic, a very popular topic. A stage where much damage has already happened, and still whatever could be
and that would be what we would be gifting to the next generation, right? So a human being, we all have so many responsibilities, and whenever the responsibility comes, it's very good to hear from all of you that there are very beautiful words like planning, like delegation, skill development, and understanding the content, the whole subject, we understand. But then sometimes responsibility also starts giving the meaning like burden, like tension and the stress. And in Raj Yoga Center, the Raj Yoga meditation, we have been taught to understand responsibility as my ability to respond to the situation. My ability to respond to a particular situation. So how do I respond? That really is depends on my personality. In fact, I was just pondering while coming over here, myself and the sister with me, we were pondering over, and we just searched what might the responsibility mean. And very interestingly, all these answers came. But then there was also the thought that how many times responsibility also comes with the feeling of fear, right? The fear. And what is that fear? The fear if there is a failure. What if there is a failure in delegating or in managing that particular responsibility? And I think it is very obvious. And then fear, as well as there is something called our sudden urge, maybe that comes in the form of getting upset or getting irritated. That also many a times comes as a response while delegating or while dealing with a responsibility. And I was just thinking, yes, we do have responsibility, whether it is that I myself and I alone am doing a task, or I am doing the task with the team, but then it is me who would be responding to the situation. And when I am alone, then everything is on my shoulders, right from the skill development until performing the major tasks. And in the team itself, when I am working with the team, then there is a great responsibility of harmonizing my personality, my my personality traits with that of others' personalities, right? And that becomes a great challenge as well. So maybe responsibility, if we can try to understand that as my ability to respond to a situation. But then how do I do that? And I was thinking how there is this fear that what if I lose in dealing with the responsibility. And also the irritation might come because the others might not be in your thought level, up to your thought level of understanding how do you perceive the task, how you want to do that, and what you expect as a result from that particular task. Then also there is this question of getting irritated or being angry or feeling stressed or tensed. This is also a possibility. But then this is where I really remember, and many of you, I think I have shared with you one of the incidents which I came across. It was actually in 2006, I believe, and we have this project in that particular year which we inaugurated, and the project was named as Just a Moment. Yeah? And we had a very nice inauguration of this event in the higher colleges of technology. And very interestingly, one of the college students club came up with an idea how just a moment could be presented to the world. In fact, the whole idea of this project, Just a Moment, was to ask people that every hour on the hour, if possible for 1 minute, if I can observe silence. And the silence would be to turn within and see what is happening in the inner world in terms of creating my thoughts, in terms of the emotions and the feelings attached with those thoughts, and then come out to the field of action and then delegate that task, deal with that task. So it takes maybe more than a minute for me to explain what should we do in that one particular moment or a minute. But then when I really sit with myself, it will not take much time. Yeah? It can be done within a minute as well. So we were urging people, and this program was held, and the students' drama club really came with a very nice idea. They were not only in line with what we were thinking about the whole project, but also they had a lot of performing skills. I should really commend them, and that stayed in my head all the time until now. And the whole scene was being played on the drama stage. 3 players, 3 actors, where there was husband, wife, and then their son. The man and the son was, they were having their breakfast, and then there was a coffee mug on the table, and the wife was serving both of them, and something happened, and then this coffee mug spills, and then that spoils the dress of the husband, of the father of the house. And then he gets so much irritated that he starts yelling at the son and he says, you are so irresponsible, how could you do this, see, you spoiled my dress today, and you don't have the presence of mind, etc., etc. And then this boy misses the school bus, he couldn't go to the school, and he had examinations on that day, and he missed that examination, and this person also misses the great presentation that he had in his office, and that's why there was loss, the tenders couldn't be received onto the company, and the boss started yelling at the whole family. But then again they replayed, they rewound the whole scene. They were such skilled people, really. The students were so skilled. They performed the rewinding scene on the stage as though they are going back. If the mother was coming with the tray, how you play the scene on the television and you rewind while it is playing, how everything is going in reverse, right? Similarly, they enacted everything on the stage. They were going with the trays back and the person was eating, reverse. So all this happened, and then again the whole scene was enacted again until the coffee mug again spilled. The coffee got spilled, and it again spoilt the dress of the man. And then at that one moment, he takes a breathing and says, it's okay, you go to school. You go to school. And he quickly goes inside, he changes the dress, he goes to office, and the boy could actually appear for the examinations. He does very well in the examination. And this person also had great presentation, and the office, the company won the tender. The boss was so happy, and then the narrator comes. He said that, on the stage we could rewind the whole scene, but in real life, that's it. Question mark. Question mark. And the whole audience, maybe 800 of us, were just mesmerized not just because the way they played the whole drama, but also with the concept that really in real life we are unable to make any damage control, right? So responsibility, while usually comes with the thoughts like stress and the strain and tension, the fear of losing what the results would be, but then again I feel responsibility is more to do with my responsibility, my ability to respond to a situation. So the roadmap for a responsible person is really staying light at that moment. And there are two situations which come in front of us. Those situations which I expect, which I know that this is how the things would happen. And then with the skills development, with our far-sightedness, we are able to prepare everything. I think once this is done, the next situation can be handled very well, and that is when all of a sudden some situations emerge which maybe I am not ready for. I didn't expect that to happen, like how it happened today. That Sister Maureen couldn't be with us. And I was just thinking, am I in it for that person, that moment? And I was just thinking, if someone else could cover up, and then the responsibility came over me. And I was just thinking, yes, this is how the life is all about. Some unexpected situations come. And I think once we are ready with the expected problems, expected errors, then we will be able to deal with the errors that would come unexpectedly, which we might not be thinking about, but still they come, we will be able to ready. And I see that there are two things which are necessary in order to stay light. One is that I am responsible. I am responsible even if there is a profit, even if there is a gain, even if there is achievement, but even if there is failure, I am responsible. I think this we are settled in our mind when the responsibility we have taken up over our own selves. So when we are ready with both these things, things would be easier to deal with. But then again, to stay light, I feel there are two things which are extremely necessary, and if we can keep practicing them. One is the power to pack up. Many times what happens is that we would be carrying many things along our journey, many things, and many of them would be unwanted, many of them would be negative, many of them would be the scenes of the past. Still we would be carrying, especially when it comes with our interaction with other human beings. Maybe some person is behaving in a set pattern, and we have that framework in the mind. Whenever we see that person, we recall their behavior which happened in my last interaction. My mind very quickly recalls that negative scene. But then again I need to understand that this is negative, this is the thing from the past. We never know when the change can happen in a person. So if that person has changed, has kept that positive thought in the mind and would come in front of me with the positive mindset and positive behavior, maybe I made a mistake again to keep the negative behavior of the past. So my thoughts can become a barrier in dealing with that person. So the power to pack up is really, really needed in order to stay light. As we understand, this is one of the ways, one of the qualities of being responsible, and then we would be able to take care the whole situation in general. So, the power to pack up. So, whatever happens, yes, let me just complete. So, whatever happens, if I can understand that and address that, and then when the situation is over, when that scene is over, if I can wind up my thoughts regarding that scene altogether as though it is over. Because every scene that comes in front of us comes with a new set of challenges. No two scenes, no two situations would be alike. It won't be in the same place, it won't be by the same people, it won't come with the same set of background. So everything would have changed except my thinking pattern. So it is best that whenever the scene is over, whenever a situation is complete, I wind up those situations, my thoughts related to that situation completely. And then when I talk about this power to pack up, I feel it is very important that I do it every day. This is what we are taught, that every day, as soon as the day ends and I am going to my bed, then let me make it a practice that I pack up from the day's event. Just like if I am working on a desk, we will all make sure that we wind up everything, close the files properly, keep them in the cupboards, and then clean the whole table. Even if it is in the kitchen, we make sure that the things are ready for the next day, for a fresh start. So wherever we go, we make sure that the things are wound up after the task is complete. But why can't I take that practice for my thinking process as well? And it is a very conscious practice that I pack up soon after the scene is over. So let me just sit with myself. It would take 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Let me ponder over, and I would feel not just the negative scenes that have happened. Usually we talk more about negative situations, how can I deal myself in those situations. But even if there were any good situations happened, any happy moments, let me also wind up. Not to carry that for a longer time. Even if there were happy moments, I would be thankful, I would be grateful, and wind up and look for a new start. And definitely it has to be practiced when there was a challenge, when there were some errors happening. So let me wind up my thinking process about the person, about the situation, and then come back to my being. Who am I? And once I am there, then from that vantage point, I would be ready to deal with a newer life situations. So it is a practice, a conscious practice that one needs to do every day, not just once in a while, but if I can cultivate and I make it as a regular practice, that would be really, really helpful. But then this just a minute event project asks us not to check the self at night, but again check when you are on that journey as well. Like when you are in that situation as well, where am I heading in my mind? Where my thoughts are heading? If I can check myself and see the result of that 1 minute silence during the rest of the 59 minutes of the hour. So this is a very good practice that we can cultivate. And secondly, when I pack up from my past, then what I need to be? I need to be in the present moment. Let me make myself or prepare my mind that I am in the present and I am available. We were having this thought in the morning today, I think, or yesterday. We were pondering over being busy and I think being busy, busyness also leads to irritation, also leads to unexpected negative reaction from the self, inability to deal with the situation. Then the responsibility, the burden also gets added into it. But then I remember the saying of one of the great spiritual leaders who headed around 10,000 spiritual centers, meditation centers, and she was responsible for around 1 million meditators around the world, and the centers span across 140 countries. And she was so light, she would be sitting on the 2-seater sofa and being there even at the age of 100, 103, she would be delegating the whole task, Dadi Janki. And she had coined this word, she had very unusual sentences. And I remember once, one year, her slogan was, to say that I am busy is actually being lazy. And I had a very tough time accepting this one sentence. Being busy means to be lazy. And many of us were asking her this question, how can that be? And I think one of the answers that she gave sat in my head, and that actually answered. She said, when you say to yourself that you are busy, you are actually deviating yourself from being responsible or delegating or looking at supervising the immediate things that need your attention. So you become lazy then. You shrug off that responsibility by saying, I am busy right now. So the important things are not addressed. And then when the important situations are not addressed properly, they might hit back to me in the future, right? And that again might become a greater burden. So it took a while to understand what Dadi meant with this, but I think it is very relevant to understand this at this moment as well. So responsibility, while we understand responsibility as synonyms to burden or being culpable, being tensed, being under stress, but again I think it is a very happy scenario where I can be of use and productivity to accomplish a task, where my skills would develop and whatever skills I already possess would be put into use, and what I don't have still, it would be an opportunity to develop those skills. So responsibility actually comes with greater happy notes than just experiencing burden or stress. But I think one thing what makes us stressed out is what if there is non-cooperation from someone, right? And I think many of you are nodding your head or there is a smile on your face when you hear this. But I think rather than seeing that moment as a non-cooperation, maybe we can think that this is their perspective and it's absolutely okay. It's absolutely okay. It is their perspective. And see if we can sit together and clear off the things. I know it is not easy and it's very, very challenging. But then again, our thoughts, if I have always kept the thoughts positive, it would make that moment easy to deal with. So again, the responsibility, I just thought, is not about the situation itself. It's not about delegating the task itself, but the greater responsibility is within the self. I am responsible to keep my thoughts positive. I am responsible to keep my thoughts pure. I am responsible, first of all, to keep my thoughts powerful. If these 3 P's can be followed, my thoughts pure, my thoughts powerful, my thoughts positive. If these 3 P's, if I can accept that, so before dealing with any responsibility with others, with the situation, whether the situations are coming unexpectedly or the situations are coming as expected, but I think the major responsibility before everything lies with the self. If I can practice that, then I would be ready to deal with anything. Whether it is the problems, because again stress is how it is my inability to deal with the certain things, right? Maybe when we were first grade students, 2 multiplied by 2 is equal to question mark was a stressful scene, right? We didn't know how to answer that. Maybe when we started understanding the tables, it was very easy, but then 2 multiplied by 2 is equal to question mark was a great thing. But when we learned the tables, it was very quick and there was no tension. And then maybe there was also a situation where we understand, oh, is it a scene? Is it a question to ask? 2 into 2 is equal to 4. Is it a question to ask at this time? So stress is actually my inability. There is something that I don't know, something that I am not aware of, that leads to stress. And stress again may be something that I don't know how I can become aware of. That also leads to stress. So even if it is to take little time, it really is a sensible thing that we sit with ourselves before we start our day, just as how we would be focused on winding up and sitting with the self in the night before we go to sleep. So it's actually a cycle. The road map is actually a cycle in a way. How I start my day and how I end my day, and during the activity how I keep myself up. All this is going to affect my personality, is going to affect how I respond to the situation. For some, so many situations come at a time, they are quickly able to have right kind of thoughts and deal with. And I have seen those who have 2 kinds of qualities again. Those who have very easy nature, the help comes. When I am easy in my nature, of course strong in my mind, 3 P's, but then easy in my nature, in my interactions, then I feel that the help comes. The whole cosmos as though is coming to help you if I am easy natured. When I am easy natured, one of the thing that comes up is that I would be having clear thinking. And this clear thinking will enable me to have the thoughts at the right time, the answers at the right time. And even if I am not mastered in that particular subject, then I would be able to get the help from others. I would accept help from others. And the others would be very happy to cooperate in that task when I am easy natured. So complicated nature, then there is a question mark. So maybe I can check myself, am I complex, am I complicated, or am I easy natured? And this would bring me the second thing, and that is good wishes from others. I have seen that the good wishes work miracles. It's just that how the good wishes of others that I have earned would be like a silent support, a silent power that would always stay with us, and somehow that works wonders. Maybe it is a bit off the topic that I am speaking about good wishes, but the power of good wishes really work miracles. It might not be understood in the corporate world, but then again I have experienced that the power of good wishes from others would work wonders. Just like how maybe you all might experience that the blessings of your elders has worked many things in your life, right? That has stayed as a silent support, a protection in your lives. So similarly, the good wishes from others, not just elders, but good wishes from our peers, good wishes even from our younger ones. So this would really help wonders, work wonders when I am delegating a responsibility. So let me understand responsibility as my ability to respond to a situation and not interpret as burden or as stress. But in fact, responsibility is really a very happy occasion where our skills would be put into work, where I would be able to learn many new things in my life, where I would be able to meet with many people who are working in many different levels, right? And it would be really an opportunity to learn from them. But then when I am responsible within myself for my thinking, and then in the interpersonal relationships, it is being easy, it is earning the good wishes from others. But then there is the third thing, the third aspect, and that is actually the responsibility towards the nature. The Mother Nature has given us so much, but then it is really now my responsibility to take care of the Mother Nature. And here the quality of respect would come into place. Respecting each and every element, respecting each and everything that I already have. This would again make me responsible towards the nature. In delegating all this, one thing is very important, and that is to keep a check on myself and not to look at others and become detrimental or change my decisions. But again, it is all about my life, how I deal with myself. So that is the responsibility over myself. So staying light would really work wonders. Staying light would become practical when I have these qualities. One last story which I would like to share at this moment, which I remembered just now. As children we grow up listening to stories, and I used to hear this story often, where a king thought that everyone in his kingdom are very much obedient to his orders, and one of his very witty and wise minister tells him that, "O king, it is not the case that everyone is obedient to you and everyone willingly obeys your orders." And the king was bit annoyed. He says that, "I can prove to you that my subjects are obedient to me." So on a particular day, he asks everyone in his kingdom that there was a well, and he asks all his people to come at night on a certain fixed day and pour a glass of milk into that well. It was a big tank like, and he asks everyone to pour a glass of milk in that. So everyone listens to the orders and they were all set, and finally that night came and everyone went with a glass. And the next morning, the king and his wise minister went to check the well, the big tank. And what they saw was a very different scene. The order was to pour a glass of milk, but what they saw in the well was, you know the story, right? In the well there was only water. There was no sign of milk. So one person at night had thought that everyone will pour a glass of milk. What if I pour a glass of water? And nobody would be able to make it out. But in fact, on that night, just like this one person, every other person had thought. Every other person had thought. So they all brought only a glass of water in it. So this leaves us with a thought that who is responsible for whom. And this also gives us the thought that how my relation should be, that when I ask for something or when I share my concept and idea, how everyone cooperate with that idea. And both these two things make us understand that really staying light in our mind by putting full stop to the waste, the burden and the negative is very important. Staying light and easy in our interpersonal relations is very important to win the trust, to win that good wishes from others would become very, very important. And definitely staying light will help the atmosphere around us, definitely. People would be enjoying to come to us, to be with us. Otherwise they would be maybe just fulfilling superficially the relation with us, maybe the connections with us, but really not proving to be that profound relation. So all this together would help us in staying light and dealing with our responsibilities. So these were few thoughts which I could share out of my experience over the past few years and maybe the past 1 month maybe. And I understand staying light is not easy, but it is not impossible even. And when I can do better things by staying light, it is better to go for that option than to take all the burden and tension over my head and then keep giving that tension to others in my team. So it is better to stay light and get the work accomplished. But then again, not to forget the one above with whom we have a very eternal relationship is very important. As much as we place importance in our interpersonal relationships. It is actually my relationship with the one above also helps us a lot, because the one above, we call it the supreme soul, the supreme being, the supreme light, God, whatever. But one of the traits is almighty authority. Almighty authority. So any task to be completed, we need might, right? We need might, and He is the almighty authority. So my relationship with the Almighty also proves many major things to happen very easily. So these were my thoughts and my experiences, and maybe few of you have some questions, or maybe your experiences you would like to share. Most welcome. We have few minutes.
I have a question. Staying light. I'm a light sleeper, and always, however you try to ignore people making noise, you'll have trouble with smokers and even visitors. And what happens is you talk it out with them and say, like, can you maintain the noise levels? Can you drop it? Especially teenagers around the buildings here in Dubai, but they will not. They'll say okay and they'll continue it. It's a pattern. Now it's a regular thing. It affects your sleep. Even shifting residences, which I've done several times here in Dubai, to get your sleep and to avoid any kind of disturbances, it just becomes a pattern, and you land up not sleeping well. So I don't know how much can you stay calm and quiet, because you are disciplined, you're organized, the other people are not. So they will mess up the place, they will drop tea, coffees, they will smoke, drop ashes. You tell them, cover the ashtray, it's flying all over. No, they will not. So then you keep doing double the work. Now how do you deal with that? Because it's a pattern, and I found even though I ignore it and I shift, but I'm still meeting these kind of people all the time. They're in your space. What do we do?
I think it's a very difficult question, very peculiar question, I should say. But then I'm not sure how many of us are going through the same situation. But maybe if I can do something with my patterns of sleep, if I can work on that, maybe that will help me. It can be anything, taking the support of some things or what I eat, that might help, like the earplugs and all. These might really help. But I have seen that again the interpersonal relationship, wherein this similar situation, I think one of the person here was facing, but then this person's meditation power was so immense that over a period of time the roommates started cooperating. They would come, don't disturb this person, let us stay quiet, this person is very good. Because the person's good nature, helping nature, even against the odds, that helped those people. So when they feel that obligation, being obliged, they were helped. So they started cooperating with this person. This is what another situation that I have heard about. So maybe see where they need the help, and if you can pitch in without any desire to gain back, without any expectation for the returns, maybe that becomes your heavier side, which will help you to deal with such a situation. Because again, as you said, changing the place is not always a solution. You yourself has experienced it. So this is another part of the story. I can introduce you to that person. He is in this room. Yes. Anything else? Yes.
How do you deal and stay light when you feel that you are having expectations to be a certain way in relationships, or certain things are expected out of you, and that puts a pressure on you to always be trying to reach up to that. And then when you are not, you feel that you have not accomplished a certain responsibility which was given to you, or you feel that you are lacking somewhere, and that puts a burden on you. How do you deal with that? Because there are people who have so many expectations out of us, and we are not able to reach up to everybody's thing.
Yes. Two things over here. One is while fulfilling the expectations, let me understand if the expectations are right, are sensible, are valid. If they are, then let me see how can I develop my skills, my ability, so that I live up to the expectation. But if the expectations are negative in nature, then it is really my role then to take a firm decision to say no, this cannot be possible. We fear saying no because of many reasons. For the reason of losing something, or maybe many other reasons. But it is a wise thing to say no if the expectations are negative in nature. And then again, another thing which I feel very important is to see the bigger perspective out of their expectation. Sometimes maybe I am not skilled enough, but I am unable to understand the concept of the other person. Sometimes the expectations are really very selfless from the other person. It is just my inability, maybe it is just a barrier in my thought pattern that no, this is not right, or whatever. So maybe it is just that small thought which becomes a barrier, but the other person might be having that expectation for a bigger purpose. That would benefit many more, that would really bring benefit to the whole community or the whole project. So let me understand that perspective, the intention behind their expectation. Many a times what happens is that expectation from others is also combined with the way they express that. And if that is in a negative way, maybe the tone is very high or whatever, that again puts a barrier here. But otherwise the expectation is actually the selfless one. So let me see all these things before I take any decision. But then again, it is really my worth, my self-esteem that plays a huge role, because it is only me who understands myself, not others. So whatever the others' feedback may be, let me sit with myself and see whether it is right. If it is right, let me see where I can change myself. If not, let me maintain that self-esteem, continue that self-esteem, and one day that will work the best. So both are very much important, to understand the other person's perspective as well as my own worth. Brother had a question.
Marsh, you had a similar question in mind and you almost just answered.
Is the answer satisfactory? Okay. This is what I feel is, but if one of you maybe want to add to it, most welcome. We have seniors here who have excelled in many life challenges. So most welcome, seniors here. You are welcome to add to the idea.
Just one more. Even when you keep your self-esteem high, sometimes you're a kind person and your goodness can be misunderstood by others. Okay?
It's okay.
So, yeah.
It's okay.
And then you don't want to justify why you try to help the person, but they will attack you, they start interfering and troubling you, and then it gets a little difficult. So then how do you, because...
I think it's over a period of time. I was also very stiff, and to a certain extent I am still stiff about it. But one thing which has sat in my head nowadays is that it's okay that others misunderstand my goodness. It's absolutely okay. It is their thing, not my thing. It is how they perceive it, but I haven't asked for anything. I haven't expressed any such thoughts. So it's absolutely okay. But keep your self-esteem high, keep your self-respect high. Make sure that when you are right, you don't express it in a way that hurts others, particularly that person. If I can just do that, it's absolutely okay. And if some people take the disadvantage, it is very good. No, let them. You are good and they are using your goodness. It's absolutely okay. What goes mine. I think it's absolutely okay. But you maintain your self-respect. I understand this is a bit tricky, how you implement this, but this is the reality. That will again help you to remain light. Otherwise you will have waste thoughts for them. So that will take away your lightness. So better to be light. Thank you so much, and hope the sharing were useful to you. So we will have this, let me wish Happy Diwali in advance that we have met here. So may this festival of lights bring light in your life, and keep connected with Raj Yoga Center for more programs, and keep your good wishes with us as we move towards dealing with greater responsibilities. And just would like to inform you that Sister Shivani, one of the greatest motivational spiritual speakers, would be here with us in the month of January. So stay tuned on all our social media for the updates. It would be maybe in the middle of January that she would be here for a day. So do take the benefit of her presence. And also we will have Sister Jayanti before Sister Shivani in the month of December. And she would be here, and I'm not sure how many of you have already seen her. She is an emissary for peace and a most sought after speakers around the world under any topic under the sun. So she would be here with us in the month of December. So we would want you all to take benefit of their presence. So stay tuned to our website and our social media for more updates. Thank you. So can we have a journey into meditation, a short guided meditation before we wind up. Rest both the feet on the ground. Place your palms on the thighs. Keep the back straight. Relax all the muscles in the body consciously. Try to rest your eyes on the point of light in front of you, or just on any point. Let the focus be on the thought patterns. Consciously relax all the muscles, the feet, the legs, thighs, abdomen, back, the hands, the palms. At this present moment, the only responsibility I have is with myself. So shrug off all the burden that might be on your shoulders. Relax the muscles in the neck. I am with the like-minded individuals in a very sacred atmosphere. Let me bring a sweet smile on my lips with this awareness. Take away the lines of worries, from the forehead, I turn my attention within and focus in the middle of the forehead. I visualize myself as a beautiful point of light, the life force, the source of life. I relate to my being as a point of light, and I understand that peace, love, and happiness being my true qualities, a simple and an easy exercise that I am a point. Within me, the thoughts arise. Within me is the ability of taking the decisions. Within me, recorded are my past traits, personalities, behavior patterns. However, I also understand that I am the master. From now on, before I speak, before I act, I will remind myself of being a master, being peaceful, loving, and happy. I allow my true qualities to reflect in my words, in my actions. I shall remind myself of my true qualities as often as possible. Thank you. Om Shanti. Thank you very much.